Amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And what else is amazing is what's next. The triple main event begins. We're kicking it off. You're getting it now. It's man versus machine. A match made in heaven, perhaps. The young superstar. The young man that most certainly, if he shows up at CTWC, if it happens live this year, would be one of the favorites to win it all. Recently got a 1.5 PB with tapping. That's right, with tapping. And he's going to try to take that skill and test it to the limit as he'll go one-on-one with the AI Bot Supreme. The Rabbit itself is here. Stack Rabbit. They're going to go one-on-one in what's sure to be a match you've never seen ever. Mr. Brain, I'll see you in 10 minutes. This is a long promo. You can thank Greg for that. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Go to the fridge and get a snack, but you don't want to miss what's going to happen. And of course, with me to join in the booth for this one, I had to bring a big brain to handle all the comms. The Hydrant Dude will be here to break down the X's and O's of the Tetraminos. And we also might have Greg joining as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's get it going. Rabbit. Alex T, who will reign supreme.
What's up, Tetris World and fans of the Tetris Friendlies Reckoning event? As I'm sure you're aware, Alex T has challenged the Stack Rabbit, and they're going to do a 1v1 very shortly.
Look at its score! It is on the verge of breaking 100 million. Just one more Tetris will do it, and there it is, the first 100 million in NES Tetris. And for context, this game was also the first 50 million in NES Tetris.
So what started the original journey was an inquisition by Fractal161, who is a great player in his own right. He found an online article about a particular way to solve for Tetris board states using like the shape of the top of the board, and he thought it was really interesting and ran a value iteration for all those board surfaces, and he was showing it to me. And I had the thought, I was like, what if you use this to make an AI? And so over the next 6 months, with that as a starting point, I poured hours and hours and hours into developing like what types of things an AI needs to look at on the board, how much is each of those important, developing the AI, testing it, getting it to interface with an emulator, and then eventually a console. And it was a huge project, but along the way, it grew and grew in power and started to eclipse the human world record and then eclipse what we ever thought possible with the game.
It's understandable given this is actually really
What is this build? Gets it clean, sort of.
Man. According to its simulations, it works out alright, and yeah, really bold placements.
Does Alex T have a chance to beat the Rabbit? And I think that's a great question. I'm very confident in Stack Rabbit's abilities. It has really deep move search and is really good at evaluating board positions. But inherently, the game has a lot of variance. There's no way about it. And you look at Stack Rabbit as well as the other Tetris AIs, there's a lot of variance game to game, and anything can happen in any given game. Especially given that we're limiting the Stack Rabbit to around the same level of reaction time and inputs that Alex T is capable of. I think they're definitely on a pretty fair playing field, and given that, anything can happen.
He's got a PB, according to this, that is a 1.522 from Alex T as a hyper tapper.
What can players learn from Stack Rabbit? And I think the biggest thing to shout out is there's a tool called Tetris Fish made by another member of the community called Ansel, and we collaborated on that and made sure the API was ready, but it is a desktop application that you can feed in a VOD of you playing, and it will analyze it kind of like a chess engine would, and it'll tell you like out of the whole game, these were like the 5 most important placements, these were like the 5 key mistakes, or if like you do a placement that's like really, really good, it'll highlight that for you and say like that was really cool. But I think the biggest thing that players can use StackRabbit to improve is to look over their games and find like common patterns of mistakes they're making. Like maybe they're making way too many of a particular type of dependency, or if there's like a particular adjustment that like keeps coming up and they keep missing. I think those are really concrete ways to improve.
So for those of you first time you're watching StackRabbit, you will see some amazing plays. Look at that burn with a J, followed by the lumbar for a Tetris.
The last question I wanted to answer is, what are some of StackRabbit's achievements? A lot of you may have seen what it can do when it has no limitations. It originally got the first ever 100 million score in NES Tetris, and subsequently has scored a 121.9 million score, which at the time was world record. It was recently sniped by Triple Machine, thanks to a heroic week of streaming and grinding to get the record. I'm gonna have to put in some time to get that record back. I'm currently working on it, hasn't taken it yet. We'll keep you posted.
Meanwhile, look at StackRabbit go, just tremendous. And
Yeah,
now StackRabbit also, Fractal did a mock qualifier for CTWC, correct?
Yeah, I was actually there for a part of it.
I believe 13 max outs was the number in the 2 hours.
And the 999 afterwards.
It also has a 71 million human possible score using 20 hertz simulated rolling, which I think is well within the limits of what rollers can do, and a 400 millisecond reaction time. And it's able to do that by getting very near a true kill screen. Unfortunately, it topped out right before true kill screen, but can maybe run that back and get even higher. We'll see. It also has a 3.8 million score, 29 start with 15 hertz hyper tapping and 400 ms reaction time. So imagine being a hyper tapper and getting almost a 4 million score on a 29 start. So I think that one's pretty sick. And lastly, I wanted to mention the 7 hertz max out, which was amazing to see. It's really pushing the limits. 7 hertz is, I think, like too high left on 19. So it was an incredible game, pretty memey category. But yeah, that's some of my favorite achievements from StackRabbit. With that said, I hope you all enjoy the match. We've got a lot coming, and should be great.
你说你会哭，不是因为在乎。I'm here to beat Kings because he sucked at Tetris.
We love a J. He's getting L's instead. Oh my god, what are those L's here for Nenu? Oh man, he won the J and the game fed him like 3 or 4 L's, and that will lead to a hangarang J. The one pace he wanted comes way too late and ends the run.
I am a multi-time CTM and CTL champion. I have 3 1.5 and level 45 with tapping. I am defined as one of the fastest tapper because I can maneuver pieces left and right with ease compared to most tappers.
Alex T at 879 survives game number 5. And he will take the game of the match and is undefeated for the CTL Season 12 Division 1. JJ.
Needs to get to B17 chase down for the victory if he can do it. If he can chase this down, he will take this right now. He's at B16. There's a double for the victory, and Alex T is going to take it with a level 31 chase down against Sidnev. What an incredible finish. A win in the kill screen for Alex T, chasing it down, and he is still going, and Sidnev cannot believe it.
I am Alex T. I do not need C++ programming to slam down Tetrises. StackRabbit can learn a lesson or two in stacking blocks. Greg can talk about StackRabbit and all its extraordinary stacking, but I am the next big thing, classic Tetris.
Alex, honestly, the kill screen play that you have put together, without question, is becoming legendary. Tell us your thoughts on how it went through in that amazing game 3 that you beat Nenu, had to go to kill screen and go to level 36. Tell us your thoughts there.
So during the game I was just vibing, and if I lost I wouldn't care at all. So I just play and I got level 36.
And when this match is over, the only thing to do is acknowledge me.
The whole world. Acknowledge me.
Going to be moving into the top 8. So there you are, Alex T. He's got, oh my god, he's got all kinds of bottles. Look at all these bottles, bro. Look at it. Guy likes his drinks. Let me tell you that. This is a kid who likes to drink.
So here we go. There's the video. You've seen it. And then hopefully we'll get a fixed stencil in a moment on that right side, but it's okay. He had it fixed before, but you'll get it fixed in a little bit. Let's get the introductions going on the left-hand side. He is perhaps one of the most electric players in all of Classic Tetris, most certainly, without question, any no doubters about it, the best hyper tapper in the world, in my opinion. He is showing you level 29. Usually plays around with rolling, and I'm sure that's probably what's happening there. He's a big memer, but it doesn't matter. He gets it done. He's a CTM champion multi-time. He's won the CTL. He most certainly can win CTWC down the road. It is Alex T! And on the right, you see that handsome man right there, also with the voice of an angel, giving you the blocks falling from his pet, most lovably known as the Stacked Rabbit. And they're going to go one-on-one in just a moment. And with me here in the booth for this absolutely crazy match that we're going to get, I had to bring someone who has a 200 IQ level, because I don't know what the hell's going on when I see that crazy rabbit running around on the right. He is the Cerebral Assassin, the Hydrant Dude. Welcome in.
Hey, gang. Always a pleasure.
So this is going to be an absolute epic war, Hydrant. I'm stoked to see this. This is man versus machine. We've seen Stack Rabbit play against players before. You know, they did a special like crazy 3-way with a bunch of players in the community, and none of them could hold any weight towards a Stack Rabbit. And then we've seen Rabbit in AI battles as well, and has been pretty dominant in just about all of them. But now it faces as big a task. It is perhaps a player that is seeming like a machine, Alex T.
Yeah, this is a really exciting match because, like, I don't know who's gonna win here. Like, this seems like a really even battle to me, assuming that I'm guessing that Stack Rabbit's gonna be playing at 12 hertz, which is, I mean, it's less mobility than Alex T technically has, or I mean, Alex T is like a 15 hertz tapper easily, and so I mean, if you give a Stack Rabbit that, it scores 3.8 million, so then it wouldn't be fair. But right now, like where we are, I think Stack Rabbit has pretty similar achievements to Alex with 12 hertz that he does just with regular tapping, which is honestly insane. I mean, the way Alex is playing, like it's easy with rolling being a thing to forget that Alex is doing this with tapping. Like, he's got 1.5 million. I thought that nobody would ever score 1.4 million back in the day. Like, how are we here now? But yeah, this should be awesome.
This most certainly will be awesome. As Greg is returning, he will be perhaps popping in. We have room in the comm booth for him, so he'll join in when he's ready. Just have to go into my Discord and you'll see the VC channel there. You have gotten the perms. Before we get this match underway, these guys are most certainly ready to go, but I spent time doing this, so we're going to look at it. I don't care. Hydra Dude, here are some online facts about the two. Alex T on the left, look at that handsome devil right there. He is a hyper tapper extraordinary. He also does some rolling, but has not really done it in competitive play as of yet. As we mentioned, boasts a 1.522 million score. He did it on a CTM Masters match to get him into the top 8. Did it on the Vicious Rhubarb, so that ult didn't work for you that day, Trap Zone. Currently, his Friendlies record is 5-1. His only loss was actually to his rival that you see at the bottom, Tommy NTG. They played on a Friendlies before, and as mentioned, he is a CTM and CTL champion. On the right is the Rabbit. Play style, well, we put it programmable because it can play any style, right, Hydra? You can play dash, can play tap, can play roll, whatever the role would be. It's available. Personal best is 123 million score. Recently just got that. On April the 19th, Greg was boasting about that. I'm sure a video will be out soon, if it's not already. Friendlies record.
Hello?
Hello, yes. Greg, is that you, my
Sorry
friend?
to interrupt you.
Yeah, that's
Sorry
okay.
to interrupt you.
I was wondering where that static was coming from, but it's okay.
Oh, top 10 mic quality.
All right, well, if you want to mute yourself for a moment, we'll get to you in a second. Friendlies record is 2-0. Stack Rabbit has played on Friendlies before, played against Ian Kanetsu the first time, because Ian challenged the Rabbit and got destroyed, of course. And then we also saw the Rabbit in action against Triple Machine at CTWC Clash. Notable achievement is now the AI world record holder. As mentioned, just got it back, and the rival is the Triple Machine. So here we go. If players are ready, we've gone through all the pomp and circumstance. We can get this match finally going. So Alex, if you're ready, please hover 3 would be great. And Greg, if you get your audio fixed, then you could just verbally confirm. Ready's here. Greg is here. He's going to be talking.
I believe the static would have been coming from my microphone. I was using the wrong one a minute ago.
Oh, how dare you, Hydra.
How is it now?
Ruining my show, man. How could you?
Is audio okay?
Yeah, your audio is fine now.
Okay, perfect.
So welcome in the AI programmer extraordinaire. It is Greg Boomcannon. Amazing what you've done with this. Yeah, amazing what you've done with Stack Rabbit here.
Honestly, I can't believe how far the rabbit hole went. I kind of went into the project just kind of curious, wanted to see where it would go, but every step of the way, the rabbit hole went so much deeper. It was a really rewarding product, and still is ongoing. There's so much I still want to do with it. I haven't had very much time at all these days, but when my current project wraps up, I do want to loop back and finish a lot of loose ends I have with AI. I want to update the website to use the newest version of StackRabbit is a big thing. I want to make more like realistic modeling and give you like a % chance of topping out and like a % chance of burning as opposed to like an eval score. There's so many ideas I have, and they all take a lot of time. So we will see. People have been requesting Ash for ages. I do want to go down that rabbit hole at some point.
No puns intended, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, true.
All right.
But first, we got to get this match underway. Is
Yeah, we
that
gotta
Alex
get this
ready?
match. He's always ready. Now we'll just let him finish out. He's playing around on the level 29 speeds there. So Alex, yeah, if you're tuning in, please, whenever you're ready. Look at him. He's got 172,000 here on 29. Amazing.
It's...
Just noticing that on the right, StackRabbit is using 7-digit score, it appears. So that is not 120k, that is 1.26.
Yeah, it is using 7-digit. Just whatever rounds I happen to have lying around.
All right, thank you, Hydrant, for that. Yes. So we'll keep that in mind as we play in the match. And Alex just still going here in the warm-up. I mean, Hydrant, yeah, like you mentioned, you said you didn't think 1.5 would be anywhere near possible, and this kid is just making it look like it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's just on a different level. Like, if you take the next highest tap score, I believe the next highest is actually still Joseph's 1.43 from way back, like 2 years ago. And then if you go below that, you have a couple 1.40, 0.41. Alex is just sitting there 100k above everybody else. And it's just a difference in the consistency of his tapping, the consistency of his stacking. It's just really incredible what he's been able to do with the playstyle.
Indeed, and he's called this will be his last warm-up game, so we'll allow him that. So that gives us time to talk with Greg and, of course, get some questions going. Greg, I mean, we've seen, as mentioned, for many of us here in the community, we've seen Stack Rabbit in action. Of course, you had that great video that went super viral over one. I think, is it at 1.2 million views now? I think.
Yeah, the views are higher than my PB. I was like, yo.
Oh my word! Line of the night right there. Wow. I mean,
yeah, that was crazy. I think it was just it was a good combination of like getting picked up by the algorithm and like being explanatory enough that someone who had no idea what Tetris was could get some semblance of what's going on. And I think it's cool that maybe it brought some new eyes to classic Tetris.
All right, so Alex T topping out there, and we'll get a hover 3. So we're not gonna play same seeds. We're just gonna play it out as we would normally here, and he's ready to go. And Greg, are you ready to go with the rabbit?
I am ready to go.
Fantastic. So we'll do the countdown. Hydrate, the honors are yours for this first game of the man versus machine battle.
3, 2, 1, Tetris.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, so Alex is underway. I'm sure Greg is already underway. Yes, there you go. There's been a slight delay, but that's okay.
Fortunately, when the AI is playing, I get less nervous than playing as a human. Somehow, like, I always get like the first like 10 lines nerves.
So let's take a look at these first couple of pieces that are dropped. You saw 2 spins that were set up by a Stack Rabbit. I mean, what? Go ahead, Greg. Explain. What's it thinking to set up like that?
So interestingly, it has like no preference for or against spins. When it looks for a move, it looks at every single possible move it can do, and then calculates what the resulting board is. And then it just looks at the resulting boards, and if the one after the spin is like a little bit better, then it thinks it's worth it. There is like a very slight penalty against spinning, so that like if you can get the exact same board without spinning, then you may as well not do the spin. But other than that, it's strictly looking for the best board and the best scoring potential. So sometimes it'll set up ridiculous things just to get an even slightly better board. And humans are like, what? But that's how the AI plays. It knows it won't miss the spin, so it goes for whatever it wants.
Right, and you kind of saw that with the movement it was just making there. And once again, Greg, I know you wrote in the chat, but if you could let the viewers know, the question from O was, what hertz does it have right now? So what are we playing with?
So right now it's playing with 14 hertz tapping. So that's, I don't know, maybe that's like 9 high left on 19. And then I know for sure on 29, it's 1 high left, 5 high right. So that's like significantly slower than Alex, but it's enough to like play a decent amount of kill screen, hopefully. The hardest part in the test games I've run is the transition into the kill screen. Like if the board is a little bit too high, then it's not really going to be able to do much of anything unless it gets bailed immediately. But if it goes in with a low stack, it can usually do some damage on kill screen. So I think it should be a good battle, because Alex, when Alex is on fire on kill screen, he can get like 200,000, and same here. But not every game is a crazy kill screen game for neither Alex nor Stack Rabbit.
And again, at the end of the day, you have to beware of the pieces falling. RNG could most certainly not be in your favor. Now, you heard the numbers there, Hydrant, that are set to those parameters. Do you think that is fair enough for maybe like even a little bit of a above average hyper tapper per se?
I mean, consistent getting 1 left every time is more than most people can do. So, I mean, for Alex, 1 left every time is pretty much a given. I don't know. I think hearing that it's 14 hertz has changed my opinion a little bit. I think I would give the edge to Stack Rabbit here. Yeah, I mean, that's a fast tapper, basically.
Yeah, this was negotiated specifically for Alex. I think if it was up against like a generic hyper tapper, I don't think 14 hertz would be on the table. But up against Alex, it's like honestly a little slow. So
yeah, I mean,
depends on the opponent.
If you want to match Alex's range, you'd probably give it like 16 hertz, because he'll just hit 20 hertz at random and get 6 high left or whatever. And
yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can see those
It doesn't even
interesting
move
delayed.
on.
You can see those interesting delayed burns that Alex was setting up too. I mean, it's almost like the way Rabbit thinks, right? To look for the optimal setup.
Yeah, and I think a lot of human players have trained themselves to like value even slightly better boards over what might be immediately intuitive. Sometimes it would be controversial if people were like setting up ridiculous like 5 and belows just to get like a teeny little bit better board. But I think if you can hit them, then there's no problem.
Or perhaps like crazy Vit setup, right, on level 25s.
A Vit setup, yes. My favorite phrase.
Yes, of course, redundant as it is. 444 for the hyper tapping organic machine there. 490 for the Stack Rabbit. Now, Greg, as mentioned, you participated in a human versus AI battle. I think there was like some special 3-way that Fractal had set up last summer that was actually on this channel. Were there any challenges that you saw, like I guess in the groups of the players that you were participating with? Were there any that you felt were comparable to Stack Rabbit? You're like, oh wow, this is really closer than I thought. Maybe I got to change the parameters for Stack Rabbit for future events.
Honestly, I don't remember who performed the best and the worst out of the humans. I know there was at least one human victory. I think one of the humans beat Triple Machine, and it might have been Alex actually. So foreboding. Stack Rabbit was undefeated against humans. It actually performed significantly better than you would expect statistically against the humans. I think it got like multiple 1.3s with 12 hertz, which is really solid. But then it definitely underperformed against bot versus bot, so that memory has stung. There were some technical difficulties and unfortunate outcomes. I was kicking myself. I was like, oh, but it happens. It's all just a part of the process.
Amazing job by Alex T. While Greg was going over that, Alex was way up high in a scary position, and he found a way to clutch it out. He's back at the bottom. 648 for Alex. The Stack Rabbit at 704 with a 5 and below. Look at that there, Hydra. Did you see that?
A little bit of a hang, but he got the next piece over, so it's all good. It's always fun to just watch the Stack Rabbit and see it adjusts like every other piece. Like you see it hover. Like one of the cool things that the AI does is that it'll hover a placement in between two possible placements, thinking about which one do I want to adjust to, and it'll wait until it sees the next piece and then make that change. And that's one of the more interesting features I think that Stack Rabbit has, because it mirrors more how a human would play rather than just immediately making the decision.
Yeah, I think that oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was just gonna say. Meanwhile, Alex T here is just putting on a show, getting out of some dangerous situations, and is getting up high. Oh my word! We need a long bar. Oh my god!
Oh, but he gets it!
Oh, what a dirty! So many dirty
Right in the nick
Tetrises.
of time.
Oh my god! Continue, Greg. Go ahead. Go ahead. I had to make sure I was gonna be safe.
The algorithm for adjustments, I think, is one of the parts I'm most proud of. I think it may actually be provably optimal, assuming like the evaluation is correct, like independent of the evaluation. So basically what it does is the backend, instead of just like you giving it a board and it tells you the best move, is the backend looks at every possible moves and gives you a score for how good each of them is. And then you do that for all possible next pieces. So like you're looking at a T piece and 7 different pieces could be next. And you're like, okay, how good is each of the spots you can put the T given each of the possible next pieces that can come up? And then you find the mid-air placement that maximizes the value of the place it can eventually end up after adjusting. I'm realizing now that this sentence is really long and it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it picks a mid-air placement that maximizes the final spot it'll eventually get to after making an adjustment. So it'll like maybe put it like middle left of the board, and it knows for all 7 pieces where it'll eventually end up. And then it does that for every possible place it could be in midair, and then maximizes across that. So it's completely nuts. I was thinking for a long time to come up with it, but I'm pretty sure it's the best you can do with reaction time and adjustments. It would be interesting to write a paper and prove it, but maybe for another day.
Perhaps. And while Greg was ranting there, we topped out 824 for Alex T on that left side. And as mentioned, Stack is on a 7-digit code. So that is a... go ahead, Greg, give me the score.
1.209 right now, and it looks like it might top out too, so it's a good thing.
There you go. So 1.2 million score. Now there it is. Confirmed. Game number 1 will belong to the Rabbit. But Alex T, my God, the things you just did, people would say is inhumanly possible. You proved that they can be done. GG's there. Hydrant, I mean, what? Wow. All I can say is wow what that kid just did.
Yeah, I was just watching him stack up to the ceiling there. I thought the capture was freezing a little. I thought he might actually get the longbar over to open the well and get out of it somehow. That didn't quite happen. But I mean, I think even if that did happen, like the way Alex plays, there was a chance that he would have just gone it down, gone into kill screen, scored another 100,000 points. Like, I don't know. These games are kind of up in the air after seeing that. I mean, 1.2 million is good, but Alex gets 1.2s in comp. He got a 1.5 in comp. So
exactly. That's why I'm not taking anything for granted.
I mean, just unbelievable. Wow. All right, so we're waiting on Alex to give us a ready. He's kind of just getting some 29 warm-up in there. I was wondering, Greg, if you were getting a little sweaty where Alex was like neck and neck with the Rabbit.
A little bit. I mean, it would be nice to have the lead going into kill screen because you never know.
All right, so Alex, when you are ready to go, we can continue. We'll move on to game number 2. Stack Rabbit, well, certainly ready to go.
Yep.
Hydrant, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think a tapper can get 136,000 on a little warm-up right there?
I think he's rolling right now. Not totally sure.
Oh, well, maybe, yeah. He does like to do that in between the matches, so that's true. I forget about that. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Was that?
Okay. He is rolling. I didn't know. I thought he was just going to go all in on tap till the end of time.
Oh no, what he likes to do is he likes to warm up on rolling and then he'll play tapping. So, and right now he's doing one-handed tapping as he's drinking his Gatorade. What a Chad.
Alex T, the only player who will put 7 balls on his screen while he's playing. Needs to get a Capri Sun sponsorship or something.
Yeah, please.
True. The CTWC qual drink fiasco, that was so funny.
One of my favorite clips, yes. So Greg, let me ask, obviously we saw your wonderful video of you explaining the history of Stack Rabbit and its great achievements. But we saw a little Easter egg at the end there of your extracurricular activity. So why don't you talk about that, Greg? I mean, people don't know that you are an amazing singer.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my big project in college. I learned to sing. I mean, no one's born singing. Actually, some people are, but very few people are born singing. So it took me about 1.5 years, 2 years before I had a sound that I was moderately happy with. I was taking voice lessons at my university and doing a cappella, and it was just a really fun time. And so it's stuck with me. These days, I have been pouring hours into a piano and voice project. I'm making a medley of 16 Porter Robinson songs. It's about 10 minutes long. It's dropping. It's been 1 week away from dropping for about a month now. I swear, it's so close to being done. But I've been pulling all-nighters left and right, trying to film and record and edit and put it all together. But if you sub to my YouTube channel, it'll be dropping soon. And I'm really, really proud of it. So I hope y'all will like it.
And apparently there were a lot of fans that were hogging out for that clip there, and of course the song.
Yeah, true. I wasn't expecting the piano cover in the background. That was such a nice touch.
Come on, Greg, gotta give me some credit here, please.
True. You did well with what I gave you. I was way more long-winded than I ever should have been. I should have cut it down by like 50%, but we made it through. Everyone's still here.
Everyone's still here, and there's plenty of people watching this. The man versus machine battle is going on right now. Commentary crew is incorrect. I totally have not changed that. What a pro I am. I'm sitting here with two awesome people. Of course, the inventor of the Stack Rabbit is in the house, and the main guy that is chilling right now, the Hydrant dude, the Cerebral Assassin, he's here. He's kind of giving you the hyper tapping perspective with Alex T. The things that Alex T can do are just phenomenal. And Hydrant, why don't you explain? Obviously, you're a former amazing tapper. You've switched over to rolling. Why don't you talk about the transformation from going from that play style to rolling? What were the catalysts to have you change over? And do you ever think you would maybe become like a hybrid?
I never want to go back to tapping. I hated tapping, honestly. The whole time I was doing it, it was no fun. Like, I don't know, you call me a good tapper, but I've never considered myself to be in the upper end of tappers because I've always been the kind of guy who hangs 6 left and then dies. But I mean, for a lot of other tappers who are like scoring 1.3s, 1.4s, I think they have much more of a reason to stick with it than I ever did. And so we do see a lot of those hybrids out there. You see Andy, Dog, Alex T to some extent is doing it, where he'll tap on kill screen up until he gets to where he needs like a 6 left or something, and then he'll frantically move the controller to his foot and try to start to roll it over, which is always fun when it happens. But yeah, I mean, it's really a question of how consistent you are with tapping, how much confidence you have in that, and if you have enough confidence in it, it can absolutely be worthwhile to use it in tandem with rolling to sort of get the optimal. But I think for myself, I would not tap like ever again.
Do you see maybe some players that would go that route? I mean, you already know that Dog has kind of incorporated that, but he does it like latter stages. Andy does that a little bit too. We've also seen some players that do DAS on 18 and then switch to, tap on 18 and then switch to roll for 19.
Oh my gosh.
Alex, a little bit of trouble here, but okay, he's fine.
He's Alex T. He'll be fine.
Wait,
yeah.
I have difficulties. Oh,
yeah,
this
totally.
is really bad.
Are we having a crash?
Yeah, the emulator crashed, but not like a good game crash. Like the emulator program quit to desktop, and the game is gone, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so we will. You'll be able to reboot, or
I can run a different game. I was scared this was going to happen. This happens rarely, but I haven't figured out a good solution.
Okay.
So
why don't we call this game a Alex T win? He was ahead in the game. We'll make it 1-1 as he continues on, and then we'll give you some time to fix that up.
Okay. Honestly, I think it might just be a bug in the emulator because I updated the version and it started happening. I really don't know what it is. If it happens again, I can reboot into Windows, and I think it happens less or not at all in Windows. Maybe I could do that now?
Yeah, why don't you do that now? Because he's going to play it out anyway. I got a feeling he's going to continue.
Okay.
But we'll call it an Alex T. Yeah, we'll call it an Alex T victory. That's only fair, right? I mean, this exhibition.
Sure.
I mean, look at him go.
Is on a pretty good run here. Maybe we can see if he can beat the score that Stack Rabbit got last game. What was that, like 1.21?
Yeah, something around there.
Maybe see if we can chase that down. Should be possible from here.
So we'll take a look at Alex T make a run here. He's already on level 23, killing it like he always does. Greg will reboot, and hopefully we'll get the stack rabbit taken care of. I mean, that's one way to beat the rabbit, huh, Hydrant? Just
True.
function.
Sending bad
console.
vibes, you know.
That's a unfortunate situation. So hopefully we'll be back to normal. Because I mean, you'd rather see Alex play it out to kill screen against a live opponent.
Of course, right. And of course, Chris Bidwell in the chat being cheeky said, teach Stack Rabbit to properly insert an NES cart into a console.
Yeah, that's so true.
Stack Rabbit can play on console, right, Greg?
It can play on console. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the same like control over hertz. Just like the amount of like input delay and stuff made me do like a more naive solution just to get it working. So it doesn't have the same fine control, but it can play on console. It's gotten, I think, like a 3 million on console. So I was pretty happy with that. There's a lot more still to be done in that department. But yeah, it definitely has successfully hooked up to a console. Getting the wiring and the captured parsing is no easy picnic.
Yeah. Is that 3 million the record for just playing on console? Wait a minit. Did Eric
I think
beat
the
that?
machine might. Wait, no. Oh,
Eric has 3.7.
yeah. Eric's PB is higher than Stack Rabbit's console PB. Oh my god.
Maybe
What a
it's time
world
to
we
beat
live
that.
in.
You might have to,
Yeah.
you might have to get the triple threat for the next event. Alex T, Eric, and Stack
It's
Rabbit.
time. It's time.
Many people in the chat. Many
Alex-
people in the chat saying that Alex T would have won anyway. It's just look at him go, Hydrant.
Oh, he got a
Crazy.
1.3. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my OBS failed to authenticate. What is going on?
Nice job, Alex T. D16 on the board. Most certainly gets the win there. Perhaps even with a malfunction, I think Stack Rabbit would have had a tough time catching that. What'd you say, Hydrant?
I was just going to say that he beat the other game by over 100,000 points, so that just shows
Yeah,
you
exactly.
that it's not a determined conclusion.
All right, we have hover 3, and Greg already knows he's ready to go. We'll count it down. Hydrant, the honors are yours. Gain 3. It's crucial because we're tied, actually. Go ahead.
It's crucial.
3, 2, 1, Tetris. I see it was updated. Alex PB today. That's why it's not updated. So he got a 730 earlier.
Wow. Amazing.
Four hours ago.
So we're underway. Greg has left the room. You can see on the screen there. Because doesn't need to be there. Rabbit knows what to... Imagine, Hydrant, that if Greg left for a second, and next thing you know is he comes back, and Stack Rabbit topped out.
Oh no.
How funny would that have been?
It'd be pretty funny. I
It's
mean,
kinda
it's the same
I
thing
mean,
as
that
the
would never
commentator
happen.
leaving and nobody's everybody topped out while you were getting a drink of water or something.
I mean, that would never happen. The rabbit would never top out, especially not on stream in front of lots of people. That simply is possible.
It's impossible. Only game malfunctions, that's all. So
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have stats on like how often it tops out early on 18 or 19?
I haven't been able to do statistical analysis because the new version of StackRabbit does like so much deep calculation that like simulating games takes as long as just like playing them out in real time. So like I could neuter it a little bit and then have it simulate games, but I'm still in the process of writing code to do that efficiently. So mostly it's just like if I let it play out a bunch of games. Like prepping for CTWC, it was able to like max out I think like 15 games in a row or something when it was going for max outs. So if it wants to be very consistent on 18, it can. Obviously it can be as aggressive or not aggressive as it wants. Right now, I think it's set to play a little bit safer, and it was banking on transitioning into kill screen and getting some solid points on there. We haven't seen that yet. Hopefully, this game will be the first game where we get to see what it can do on kill screen. Maybe get a 100,000 or 200K post.
And I recall seeing Stack Rabbit kind of suicide stack before kill screen, where it was like making holes in the center and stacking up really high for that last Tetris. I was wondering if that's sort of a hard-coded thing into it, or if you've considered like letting it just sort of burn down and go into kill screen low, or...
So, no, it basically, in its default mode, it will always go for Tetrises. And then it thinks about 8 or 9 moves into the future. So based on those simulations, if it sees a way to safely get into kill screen, like especially with a Tetris, it generally finds that. But if the board is so screwed that it can't see a way to consistently downstack within like 8 pieces, then sometimes it misses it and just goes YOLO for the last Tetris, which with the current situation I think is kind of bad. So I may have done a last minute code change to just tell it to start lining out at like 226 lines. We'll see if it pans out. I probably should have tested it first, but you know, Tetris is a game of risk. We'll see if it pans out.
All right.
Greg, do me a favor. I think, sorry, Greg, do me a favor. I think we're hearing your game sounds on the.
Oh, right. Let me mute those up.
Thank you very much. Yes. As much as I love hearing the block sounds and the sound of a satisfying Tetris, we don't need that here.
Yeah. One of the nice things about, oh my gosh. This is unreal.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
we just saw it. Oh, Greg giving a spoiler, but wow. Oh my word. And then that T-spin to burn. My god.
And that very well could have been the 18 top out. There, if that long bar didn't come that piece, I don't think I would have lived.
Oh my word. And this is still not like an easy dig either.
Wasn't scared for a second. Any believers?
Oh my god.
That was a heart wrencher.
Oh.
I looked away for 1 second and it's like 2 cells away from topping out. I'm like, what on earth?
And you know, the funny thing is that I probably could have believed Alex T would have got out of something like that too, because he has done nutso kind of get out of jam situation type hyper tapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's so clutch. I mean, when a machine is clutch, it's different because it's like it's emotionless. It just does whatever it thinks is the best move. But like for a human to maintain composure is honestly really impressive. All those like high 29 digs you see on the Miles the Great YouTube channel, like stuff like that is just nuts.
It's definitely a mental thing where, you know, once you make like 3 misdrops, you just feel like, oh my god, I just want to give up, man. Like I'm tired of making these pieces in the wrong places. But like a robot, I mean, well, first of all, they don't misdrop, but second of all, like they don't care. Even if they're in a bad situation, they're just going to keep playing. And it can be hard for some people to sort of get that mentality going, where you never really give up. You always just keep trying until, oh my god, speaking of, Alex going way up to the top there. But yeah, there's definitely a mental component, which is interesting to consider.
Alex at 622, Rabbit at 629. Alex ahead in the line count. A dirty triple there, and he gets the J over too. Oh my word. Amazing stuff from this kid.
Actually, at pretty even pace here. Well, I think there's about 2 Tetrises between them, which is closer than the first game. And then, well, the second game didn't pan out, but it should be tight.
And there's an interesting burn there, Greg. You saw the Rabbit, instead of, like, we see a lot of players kind of get Tetris ready and would have used that J vertically inverted to burn and beat Tetris ready. Instead, the Rabbit just took the J burn and was still not in that mode. What's the reason behind that?
Honestly, I missed it. I wish I'd seen it. One thing is that since I kind of wanted to get it to play well on kill screen, I've noticed in my testing that kill screen it does much better at high depth because there's just like a lot more going on and you're playing for like very complex bail sequences. So it's playing at higher depth, which means it tends to play like wiser and safer in the long term, but there's a lot of statistical noise since the evaluation is based on playing out the situation with like simulated piece sequences. And the further deep you go, the more just like randomness there is in how good any position is. So sometimes it'll get confused and think like the third best move is actually the best move because it just happened to do really well in its internal simulations. And that's the cost of depth. But I made the choice that I thought it would be worth it overall on the aggregate. So sometimes it may make like slightly less good decisions, but hopefully that means it will generally make wiser decisions and less like catastrophic blunders, like ruining the left side on 29 or something like that.
And unfortunately, that left side got ruined for Alex T. Could not get out of that mess, and he topped out at about 880 and change. So Rabbit is going to be good for game number 3 and has the 2-1 advantage over the young superstar. Yeah, Rabbit is good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
Rabbit is good. Yes, don't worry.
Oh, actually, I should have let it play. I wanted to see how it did going into kill screen, just to see if it would get the transition. But we'll have to see. Everything's on the line for the next one.
Like we've also switched over to standard letter scoring ROM instead of the 7-digit.
Oh, that's.
Oh yeah, that wasn't even a conscious decision. It's just whatever the most recent one was in my emulator. Maybe we'll see a roll. Can we get a double rollover?
Double rollover. That would be quite something.
No, I'm sure you'll be testing further tonight. Who knows?
All right, I'm ready for game 4 if Alex is. Actually, it looks like he's practicing.
He's going to do his usual Alex T things. He's going to step away, maybe get a drink.
Hmm.
That's what he loves to do. You heard in the promo, Van said this kid loves to drink. Stay hydrated. In fact, I probably should stay hydrated. It's we're already halfway through this. This is game number 4. We got 2 more to go. Big time matchup coming up next. The Friendlies Championship will be on the line. Miles and Huff, and then of course the dream match. You're gonna get Green Tea and Sharky. They're gonna do battle probably in about an hour from now. So I gotta pop the top, gentlemen. Here we go. Oh yes. If you don't know, the king is back. The White Claws are returned. First time cracking it open now. It's crazy.
Been a staple of the broadcast for a long time.
True.
I haven't
Honestly,
heard you do it in the last few, but
when I think of White Claws, I'm like, oh yeah, it's Kingsman.
And when I think about hover threes, it means it's time to go. We are ready to play. Alex T off screen, so he's probably loading in the tasks, and that's fine. Count it down, Hydra Dude, for pivotal game 4.
3, 2, 1, Tetris.
And there you go.
All right. So yeah, let's get a good game. Hopefully, Stack Rabbit won't.
Where is Alex?
Back up to row 19 again.
He is totally out of frame. Now
Is he playing with an AI too? Has he been making a bot this whole time? That's why he challenged the Stack Rabbit.
Perhaps he's unveiling it for the first time.
Yeah, he's like, you thought all this time those were my hands that were tapping like 18 hertz all the time? It was actually a.
Well, we'll see how he does out of frame. So far, perfect for the first 8 lines. That's 2 Tetrises in. And he'll get a third one to stay perfect. 68,000 for him and 47 for the Rabbit.
Expect the webcam's probably just frozen or something.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he probably came back and then webcam bugged. Eric ICX moment.
Oh, true.
Always love watching color bars play Tetris.
Especially when you're trying to convince people that your April Fool's score is legit when your camera just died.
Oh my word, yeah.
The bright side about getting a world record on April 1st is that when April 2nd still comes around, you still have world record.
This is true. Yes, true. Now let's talk about world record, Greg. You know, I saw you posted in the Discord that Stack Rabbit has reclaimed the world record now. I know in the promo video you were working towards trying to do that, and we were hoping to see if it could happen before, but you know, timing and stuff. We got to meet deadlines, of course. But let's talk about the world record run. Yeah, I mean, how long was that run now?
So it's the crash is consistently around the same period, plus or minus a few minutes. So it was an hour and 10 minutes, which means like if you're like grinding to get the world record, it just takes some time. I mean, I certainly wasn't running games at the office while I was working. I would never do that.
No.
But yeah, so when the games take an hour, it does take a good amount. So I opted to have it play like medium to aggressive and just hope for the best. Essentially, the original record was on the old version of StackRabbit, the one that was entirely in JavaScript and only searched at depth 1. So honestly, when I think back, I'm like pretty shocked at what it was able to do with the old version. But then over time, I made lots of improvements and never bothered to attempt for the score again because it was on top. There was no real need to grind for hours and hours and hours. But then suddenly when Triple Machine came into the picture and took the record away, I was like, oh, well, I got to give new StackRabbit a chance, see what its chops are. And so the story is actually kind of funny. I was just minding my own business and I heard the record got taken away. I was like, oh no. And I was like, well, I wonder if StackRabbit still got it. And then on the very first game, it actually took the record back. So I was stoked about that on the first try. But then Kairos was less stoked about that because he was planning on making a YouTube video about it. And he was like, well, how am I supposed to make a YouTube video now if you already took the record back? So we agreed that he was going to grind and beat that score, and then I would give him a grace period afterwards to let him make his YouTube video. So that I gave him a month after that before attempting. And then unfortunately this time it didn't come first try. It took, I think, maybe like 10 to 15 tries, including early top outs, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's many hours. So
right,
yeah, I think now,
because if you're having a long run that's going like 50 minutes to an hour and you're still not reaching that and it fails, now you got to go back and start doing it all over again, you know.
Yeah, like when you get the record is 123 million, you get a game that goes to true kill screen at 120 million. You're like, wow, I just watched it for an hour and 10 minutes and it's a few million off the record. And I think it's at the point where it's no longer a trivial score to beat. I mean, we've theorized that maybe like the absolute upper limit is like 130 or 140, but I mean, like you run out of space. Like if you don't get the bars, you have to burn, and like sometimes you get bad pieces. Like it's not a given that you can just play perfectly, even with all the computing power in the world. So I think we're very near the limit of what's possible. I think you can grind and maybe get like slightly higher, but fundamentally both StackRabbit and Triple Machine are at a very high level in terms of like getting near the utmost potential of the game.
Oh, what a line spin from Alex T in the middle.
Let's go.
Absolute
Van Dweller
flush.
somewhere smiling.
Well, certainly. Hopefully he's watching this because it's on his channel. 479 for Alex T, 578 for the Rabbit. The Rabbit is about 100,000 points in the lead and also 10 lines behind. So advantage for the AI bot Supreme. But that young man right there is honestly amazing to watch and is top tier. So no fault there.
It's astonishing what Alex has been able to do. I mean, like having the presence of rollers has really just pushed people even beyond even people who don't roll. Like who would have thought that Alex would get multiple tap 1.5s? Like that's ridiculous. Even just like Hydrant was saying, 1 or 2 years ago, like the best score was a 1.3, 1.4 was unbelievable. The kid's a machine.
I mean, look, Hydrant, are you watching this right now? Look at this dig from this kid.
Hope you survive this. That long bar. Are you kidding me?
Nice. Gets the bar. Needs another
We need
bar.
one more though.
Let's go.
Oh,
Another
he's still
L.
alive.
Still in a
He
drought.
survived that. I can't believe that. That's amazing.
Oh, there we go. Tetris for Alex T. Wow. Unbelievable. Eat your heart out, Stack Rabbit. Wow. And Hydrant.
Long bar is a little.
I was gonna say, Hydra, look at him stack those long bars there. I mean, that's a tapper's dream. That's a tapper's dream.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I do think one of the best things about rolling is kind of like Hydrant was saying, that like DAS has a level playing field, that everyone has the same DAS controls. Like obviously everyone has different levels of rolling, but at a fundamental level, it's not like you have this inborn tapping speed that fundamentally changes the way you play. Like if you get really good at rolling, you can roll just as well as any other roller. And so I think that's really exciting moving forward, especially because I was personally a pretty slow tapper. I was like 11 hertz at best. I would struggle to get 7 left. And so seeing people just like easily get much bigger range, it was like we're playing a different game. But I think rolling is definitely going to help with that. That if you put in the hours, you can get pieces where they want to go.
I mean, this kid should have been topped out ages ago. He's on level 25 at 745. In a competitive sense, I mean, that's a great score so far on this range. But the Stack Rabbit, obviously, almost 200,000 points. S-spin, excuse me.
25 max. That's pretty solid.
Crazy.
We'll take the 25 max.
Yeah, you'll see in a second with that Tetris. 821 for the Rabbit, 817 to make it 850 for Alex T. Incredible.
I mean, we've seen him get like 300,000 on kill screen in warm-up. So if Rabbit fails to transition to kill screen and Alex just pops off, this game is far from over.
I was going to say, Greg, you mentioned Triple Machine there, and Triple Machine is primarily a neural network AI, where it's learning all of its sort of decisions. And I was wondering where Stack Rabbit is relative to that, whether it learns anything or if most of the decisions are kind of a hard-coded like list of criteria sort of thing.
So the original version was much closer to like an engineered list of criteria. So I would basically, like using my knowledge as a player, I came up with like a basic list. And then what I would do is we'll just watch it play. And it generally would play pretty well, but then every so often it would just make really strange moves. And so I would dig through, I'd be like, okay, what is it missing? What does it need to know that it doesn't know? And so through that process, I was able to refine the list of features and do statistical testing to figure out how much each one is worth relative to all the others. So it is very much engineered, but there is some aspect of discovery. But what's really been cool is with the new versions where it searches really deep into the future, it will find things that aren't in the actual heuristic function. So it'll sometimes set up for center well Tetrises. It'll find like really crazy tuck setups, even though the eval function like doesn't consider tucks at all. Like in the new version of Stack Rabbit, it looks at a tuck and thinks it's a hole. But with its deep move search, if it finds enough ways to get out of it, it'll happily set up a delayed tuck setup. So that has brought the idea of like emergent behavior and like discovering stuff on its own. Definitely doesn't hold a candle to self-learning deep neural nets, but it's cool in its own right.
And what's very cool is that the Stack Rabbit has done it. Alex T went to level 31. I mean, look at that board, and he was still making burns at the top. Hydra dude, this kid is electric. But at the end of the day, the AI bot Supreme has done it again. The Stack Rabbit is victorious and says game 4 is no more.
And we're also seeing an instance of it successfully transitioning to kill screen. So we'll see how far it can go. I'm looking at the back end, and it is consistently running out of time to commute because my processor is overloaded. But luckily, I coded in a functionality that it like really quickly comes up with a backup decision if it doesn't have time to calculate it. So it's not at its fullest potential, but it seems to be doing all right anyway. So I'm excited to see how far it can go.
Well, maybe if you could program that encoding for the King's laptop, that'd be great, because then that would help lower CPU usage here.
Oh, absolutely. But of course, all the props in the world to Alex T. It was a great match. He put up some ridiculous scores. Even if the machine hadn't malfunctioned in game 2, I think he still would have taken that game. So I think he can absolutely be proud of that.
Yeah, without question. D on the screen for him at a 1.3 in game number 2. I think honestly probably would have taken it. So taking a game off the Stack Rabbit is certainly no easy feat, and Alex T has proven why He is the future of classic Tetris. His tapping is tremendous. No one thought you could ever do things that he does. And we'll see what happens in the future for him. I'm sure he'll continue his journey. Greg, amazing job with the rabbit. It continues on D75. I'm sure it'll go all night long. But we're going to have to move to a winter scene, my friend, because we got other people waiting in the wings.
Oh, we don't even get to see it pop off.
I'm sorry.
Alas. It makes sense. Yeah, we had technical difficulties and we're already behind.
Exactly. Sad. But I'm already seeing you pop off because you're on the screen there. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the programmer extraordinaire of the Stack Rabbit. Congratulations to you, Greg, on your beautiful AI bot. Victorious in this friendly man versus machine. Machine wins. Parting words, my friend, from the winner.
Honestly, thank you so much to the community. It's been a great journey. Every step of the way as Stack Rabbit was growing and developing, there was so much excitement from people and people doing test games and making feature suggestions. So the community's been great. I'm super happy to still be a part of it, even if I'm super busy and don't play as much anymore. Thank you all for coming out. It was a great time. But yeah, see y'all later.
Now, Greg, before you leave, let me ask a quick question. You're busy with AI bot and, of course, IRL stuff that you do. But Portland, CTWC hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure we'll hear something soon. Will you be in attendance?
I will do everything in my power to be in attendance. Some of you may know I already went in 2019 before I had ever touched an NES controller. So I'm very willing to make the trek. I'm so excited to meet all the people in the community that I haven't already met. I've met a few, but there's still so many more people out there that make this community amazing. So I'm really excited for it. I'm really happy it's in person.
And I'm sure many people would love to see you and get a chance to chat it up about the AI button. Hey, maybe you'll be good enough to qualify, right?
I don't know about that one. It'd be like 7 max outs to qual, I swear.
IRL is a lot different.
I wish we could have seen this in one of the games, but right now it's at 1.56 and still going strong.
Amazing. Well, we'll take your word for it. If you want to see the Stack Rabbit continue, will it get 126 million? Well, go check it out. Greg's on his Twitch channel. It's Greg Boom Cannon, twitch.tv/Greg Boom Cannon. Go check it out. Stack Rabbit's there. Greg, thanks so much for coming in, buddy.
Although don't look away. Gotta pay attention to the next match.
Oh, without question.
Oh, it just rolled over. It just rolled over. Holy cow. And then topped out. Got a measly 2,140 points. I think Alex T wins, actually.
There you go. So we'll have to play game 5 now.